For the fifth consecutive year, the Nets are in the playoffs. Brooklyn clinched a playoff spot with a home victory over the Magic on Friday night, and there's one more game left in the season before a first-round matchup with the Philadelphia 76ers. Joining me now to talk some Brooklyn basketball is New York Post Nets beat writer Brian Lewis, free of the drama and going back to the playoffs. Brian, how you doing?
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Excited for some playoff basketball right around the corner. So let's talk about that. Now, Brian, considering all that the Nets have been through this season, they are now in the playoffs. How would you grade Brooklyn's 2022-2023 season?
Oh, goodness. Is it a cop-out for me to say incomplete? Listen, if your premise was championship or bust and I don't care about anything else, then it's obviously an F, because not only did their championship window essentially slam shut when they traded Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, but they're probably not winning a title anytime soon without massive changes. If you're grading it on how well do you pivot after two generational players demand trades in the span of, 4 days? I'd say it's probably an A, because Mikal Bridges has exceeded all reasonable expectations. I think the fairest thing to say is incomplete until I see what they do, how they quit themselves first in the playoffs, but more importantly, how they finish the immediate restructuring of this roster in July. Okay. That's what I would say.
Okay. Professor Brian Lewis going with an incomplete. I think there's fair points to that. Now, you talked about the playoffs, Brian. The Nets, they do have some history with their opponent, which will be the Sixers over the years. But does this upcoming first-round matchup have the same level of intrigue for you now with Brooklyn not having any star players and Ben Simmons shut down for the season? Does this have a level of intrigue for you with this series?
It does not have the same level of intrigue. I have to be fair. It's probably less to do with not having star players, although that would help because you would have two teams that are in a championship win now mode, and more to do with Ben Simmons being shut down. Because frankly, Ben Simmons going back to Philadelphia, potentially getting matched up on plays guarding either the likely MVP favorite, Joel Embiid, who he clearly had beef with, or James Harden, who he got traded for, that would be must-see TV. I'd say right now, lacking star players and having the only guy on your roster who is an actual all-star and has history with Philadelphia being shut down, that's really tamped down on the intrigue a lot.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's just so disappointing we're not going to get to see that. I really wanted to see Ben Simmons back in Philly with the Philly fans doing, you know what they do, Brian. I really would have been excited.
Doing Philly fan things.
Doing Philly fan things. Yes, that would have made it interesting, intriguing, whatever you want to say. But we're not going to get that. So moving on. The Nets, they host the Sixers in the regular season finale on Sunday. They have lost 3 straight to the Sixers, so who we know are likely going to rest their starters. So I have to ask this. Is there any value to the Nets trying to end their losing streak to Philly in the final game of the season and coming out with a win?
Not really. Listen, obviously you want to win every game that you're playing. Well, unless you're the Dallas Mavericks or you're overtly tanky. I'd say there is a value for some guys, like, say, Day'Ron Sharpe, or guys that are going to play because the Nets are going to be resting people, the Sixers are going to be resting people. This is essentially going to have the vibe of an exhibition game or a preseason game. So other than those few players that are going out there trying to prove that they can handle a bigger role, other than that, there's no significant value in trying to break a losing streak when the players that you're talking about are going to be sitting on the bench in street clothes.
No value at all in the regular season finale. If you are a diehard Nets fan or Sixers fans, you will absolutely be tuned in. You got Brian Lewis's grade for the Nets season. I'm not going to ask him for a prediction just yet. Brian, I'm going to let you think about it a little bit more but as we get closer to that. And I will ask you for a prediction later in the week. Next time we talk, we'll definitely get a prediction out of you for this one and see what you will say. Hopefully it's a little better than your grading, but we shall see. That is Brian Lewis, the Nets beat writer for the New York Post. Brian, always good to talk to you. Thank you, man.
No, thanks for having me. Anytime.